136,000 homes are without power across the country right now from yesterday's storms. 300 wind damage reports came in yesterday, and the severe weather threat is nowhere near finished. And by next Monday, heat index values are expected to hit 105 degrees all the way into Minnesota. This week is a major turning point. The weather pattern across the entire country is about to flip. What is happening by next Monday will look nothing like what you're experiencing outside right now today. Let's start with the damage. Right now, 136,000 homes are without electricity from yesterday's storms. Wisconsin alone has 11,000 outages. Virginia has 11,000. North Carolina has 30,000. And Texas has 10,000. Yesterday produced 8 separate tornado reports and 300 confirmed wind damage reports, and it is not over. Today, we have a level 3 enhanced risk for southeast Wyoming, eastern Colorado near Denver, and Cheyenne. The slight risk covers the Red River Valley, Amarillo, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Dodge City, Kansas. We are also watching eastern Virginia and North Carolina, Norfolk, Durham, all the way to Atlantic City. The wind threat today is serious. 30% probability of damaging winds, mid-Atlantic and central high plains. In the black outline zone today, 75 miles per hour wind gusts are a genuine possibility. Take that seriously. Tell me your city in the comments. We'll give you the most specific update for your area today. The storm fuel is loaded and aimed at the Front Range and Southern Plains again today and tomorrow. Midday today, we already have showers and storms from Nebraska through Kansas and Oklahoma toward the Red River. By this afternoon, these storms move south into the Texas Panhandle with all hazards on the table. Supercells are also possible in southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas this afternoon. Stay on alert if you're there. The mid-Atlantic coast, Virginia, North Carolina, Delaware, and Maryland faces a cluster of severe weather this afternoon. After sunset, a major MCS develops and sweeps around the high pressure through Colorado and Kansas overnight. By early morning tomorrow, that MCS drops into Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma with damaging winds as primary. Isolated cells near the Texas-Oklahoma Panhandle tonight could produce winds at 80 to 90 miles per hour. The significant hail threat today includes potential for 2+ inch hail in the black outlined enhanced zone. Those areas are 8 to 12 inches behind today, could bring 2 to 3 more rainfall inches. Comment your city below if you're across the southern or central plains. We'll track these storms for you. Now, Wednesday is essentially a rinse and repeat, almost an identical setup to what is happening today. Wednesday morning starts with clusters of showers and storms through Little Rock, Memphis, and Monroe, Louisiana. Wednesday afternoon, the Front Range fires up again with higher coverage Colorado, Northeast Panhandle, Texas Panhandle. The 75 miles per hour wind gust potential and significant hail threat returns Wednesday, exact same black outlined zone. Northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin face a 2% tornado risk Wednesday from the same system. Thursday is another repeat. Cluster moves into Kansas Thursday morning, then repeats on the Front Range Thursday afternoon. The flooding risk stays elevated today through Thursday from repeated rounds of heavy rain over the same areas. The North Carolina power outage situation, 30,000 homes, is a direct result of yesterday's damaging wind event. Now let's talk about the big picture, because the weather pattern shift that's coming is genuinely significant. Most of June has featured a very unusual winter-like jet stream pattern, and that pattern is now ending. A trough is now developing off the coast of British Columbia and western Canada, and it is deepening. That trough deepening into the Pacific Northwest late this week is the trigger for the entire pattern change. As the west cools and gets active, the east warms. That is exactly what is about to happen. A downstream subtropical ridge builds across the Mississippi Valley, and that is what powers the heat wave east. Right now today, the eastern U.S. has temperatures in the 60s, 70s, and low 80s with low humidity. Enjoy it while you can, because by Saturday, you will already start to feel the heat building northward. A South Dakota low pressure Saturday with warm front and cold front dynamics will speed up the transition. By Sunday, colder air dives southward west of that low, while warmer air spreads rapidly northward east. By Monday, June 29th, the pattern is fully flipped. Tons of warmth and humidity for the eastern half. Monday, June 29th is the first day the pattern has completely reversed from what we've seen all month. The Pacific Northwest turns cool and very active, while the eastern U.S. warms rapidly into a heat wave. The northern Rockies will see some late June snowfall by Sunday into Monday from this pattern change. This is what meteorologists call a complete pattern reversal, and it happens fast. In less than a week, the PNA, the Pacific North American pattern, is going more negative than yesterday's data showed. Yesterday, it showed extreme heat through July 4th. Today's data now extends that through July 6th or 7th. What that means is a higher ridge building into Canada, pushing extreme heat further north than originally forecast. All major weather models are now agreeing and trending together on this heat wave that means high confidence. Saturday this weekend, high 80s already spreading into the Dakotas, 90s and hundreds across the southeast. Heat index values Saturday will already feel like 105 degrees or greater in Oklahoma, Kansas, Carolinas, and Georgia. Sunday, the 90s push into Minnesota, and 100 to 105 degree temperatures hit Texas and Oklahoma. By Monday, heat index values of 105 degrees or more reach all the way into Minnesota by lunchtime. That number, 105-degree heat index in Minnesota, is not a typo and not an exaggeration. By Tuesday, the 80s push into Canada and heat indices are still 100 to 105 degrees by lunchtime. Wednesday gets even stronger, high 80s into Canada, even 90 degrees into Canada, with heat indices near 110 by Thursday. Heat index values are hitting 110 degrees or more across the Carolinas and Georgia, no joke. And Michigan and Minnesota will feel like 103 to 104 degrees by Thursday. That is genuinely historic heat. Overnight lows in the 70s to low 80s across the Midwest mean the body gets zero recovery time. Oklahoma and Texas will see record warm overnight lows, even Florida-like warmth spreading north toward Arkansas, Amarillo, and Abilene. Texas, you are looking at possible record highs approaching 110 degrees next week. The Gulf Coast, good grief, you are simply not getting out of this heat through August potentially. You go from 60s and 70s today to 100-plus heat index by Saturday, a 40-degree swing in days. The PNA index going deeper negative is the single most important data point from today's model runs. A deeper negative PNA means the ridge builds higher and heat pushes further north than any recent forecast. Every single weather model, GFS, European, Euro AI, High Resolution Euro, is trending toward this same pattern. When all major models agree and trend the same direction, you take that very seriously. Heat is the silent killer. It kills more Americans every year than tornadoes, hurricanes, and floods combined. Hydrate, constantly check on elderly neighbors and family members. Do not let pets outside during peak heat. If you feel dizzy or confused during outdoor activity in this heat, get inside immediately. That rapid temperature swing is physically demanding on the body. Prepare your health as well as your home. Tell me your city in the comments and we'll specifically track this heat wave for your exact area. What makes this unusual is how far north the 105-degree heat index actually reaches, including Minnesota. What is your reaction to seeing 105 degrees hitting Minnesota next Monday? Comment below and let us know. Now let's talk about weekend and early next week's severe weather. This is where things get serious. Friday, June 26th, storms spread across the southern plains, Ohio Valley, Rockies, and into Montana. Saturday, June 27th, the Storm Prediction Center already has high confidence in severe weather. Remarkable. The SPC is already highly confident in severe weather for the Dakotas Saturday, 5 days out. The Saturday Dakota setup could also extend into Saskatchewan and southern Manitoba and the Nebraska Panhandle. Sunday, the severe weather threat extends eastward into Minnesota, the same general area tracking from the Dakotas. Early next week is where this setup gets extremely serious, the models show. Charcoal levels of extreme instability. Charcoal level instability across the Midwest and Northern Plains means the fuel for severe weather is off the charts. A strong low pressure will develop in the northern plains early next week and track northward into Canada. As that low strengthens and gains latitude, it pulls warmth north and creates violent wind shear for tornadoes. A ring of fire pattern will begin developing early next week, storms circling around the high-pressure system. Ring of fire means storms build across the north central, Great Lakes, and back toward the northeast. Monsoon moisture from Wyoming and the Rockies will crash over the ridge into Wisconsin and Minnesota. Even the mid-Atlantic will trend wetter heading into July from the same ring of fire pattern. Through July 1st, the heaviest rainfall belt tracks from Kansas east through Missouri, the Ozarks, and into Ohio. The East Pacific is lighting up, and Hawaii needs to be monitored through July 4th and beyond. The massive high pressure pushing dust through the Caribbean and Gulf is suppressing any tropical development. The severe weather pattern active for weeks is not done. It is accelerating heading into next week. We have been in an unusual winter-like jet stream pattern all June, and it is finally ending now. The heat wave building after this pattern flip is actually more typical for late June and early July. But the ring of fire pattern keeps storms active through July. Do not let your guard down. Denver and Cheyenne enhanced risk again today with significant hail, 75 miles per hour winds, and a low tornado risk. Red River Valley and Amarillo, slight risk today with all hazards possible, especially large hail and damaging winds. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Dodge City right in the middle of today's slight risk zone with all hazards. Southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas, watch for supercells pushing your way this afternoon from Oklahoma. Norfolk. Virginia and the Tidewater area, 30% wind threat today with an isolated spin-up tornado possible. Delaware, Maryland, and Atlantic City storm cluster arrives your way this afternoon with damaging winds possible. Little Rock, Memphis, and Monroe, Louisiana Wednesday morning brings your first wave of severe storms. Northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin Wednesday brings a 2% tornado risk from the same system. Bismarck and Rapid City, Saturday, June 27th, is your elevated severe weather threat day with tornado potential. Minneapolis and Rochester. Minnesota, Sunday, the severe weather threat extends east from the Dakotas into your area. Kansas City and the Ohio Valley early next week, charcoal level instability places your area under the gun. Oklahoma and Texas, 105-degree heat index this weekend, becomes 110 degrees by next Thursday. Mark my words. Carolinas and Georgia, heat index reaching 110 degrees by next Thursday and staying that hot through the weekend. Michigan and Minnesota, you could feel like 103 to 104 degrees next Thursday. Unprecedented heat. Gulf Coast cities, New Orleans, Houston, Biloxi, you are not getting out of this heat for weeks. Amarillo and Abilene, watch for record highs approaching 110 degrees next week as the ridge builds overhead. If your city isn't on this list, comment below and we'll get you a specific forecast update. Let's bring the whole picture together. The next 10 days represent a complete transformation of American weather. Right now, 136,000 homes without power. 300 wind reports yesterday. Severe weather continuing through Thursday. This weekend pattern flip begins. Dakotas, severe weather. Southern Plains, heat index, 105 degrees. Next week, charcoal level instability, Northern Plains. Heat index, 105 degrees. Minnesota, 110 degrees, Carolinas. This is genuinely one of the most significant pattern changes we've seen in American weather this entire year. Make sure all your weather alerts are active for both the severe weather threat and the heat wave. Check on anyone without power right now. 136,000 homes means tens of thousands of vulnerable people tonight. Never drive through a flooded road and do not walk through any standing water after heavy rain events. The heat wave arriving next week is not routine. It is a prolonged and dangerous heat event. Being prepared before any severe weather or heat emergency is what gives you options when it arrives. Have extra water, food, and medications on hand with 136,000 already out. More outages are possible tonight. NOAA weather radio and a battery backup are essential this week. This is exactly when you need them. Flooding remains a concern through Thursday as repeated rounds of storms hit the same saturated areas. There is something here for everyone: storms, heat, flooding, and a complete pattern shift all at once. For those of you in cooler areas right now, enjoy it, because next week brings a dramatic change. Are you dealing with a power outage from yesterday's storms right now? Tell us your city below. 136,000 homes without power. 300 wind damage reports yesterday. And 105-degree heat heading to Minnesota next week. Heads up, prepare for severe weather this week and a historic heat wave arriving this weekend. We'll give you a full update on the heat wave and weekend outbreak potential tomorrow morning. Stay weather aware and stay informed. This is one of the most important forecast weeks of the entire summer. For the first time in weeks, the pattern delivers meaningful precipitation to the Pacific Northwest. The Pacific Northwest will become very cool and very active, a complete reversal from recent weeks. The Nebraska Panhandle is one area desperately needing the rain coming this week. Badly behind on rainfall. The Atlantic tropics are quiet. A tropical wave trying to develop off the mid-Atlantic is moving away offshore. When the northern jet retreats to Canada in July, major severe weather events become less frequent. Combining a heat wave, a severe weather outbreak, and repeated MCS events makes next week genuinely dangerous. This is genuinely one of the most active weather weeks the United States has seen all summer long. Wisconsin with 11,000 outages and Virginia with 11,000 more. These storms are not playing around out there. A 40-degree temperature swing in days is physically demanding on the body. Prepare your health, too. Share this with family and neighbors in today's storm zone or next week's heat wave zone. Every single model is now trending together. That is the highest confidence signal we can have on this. This is June 2026. Writing its own unprecedented chapter in American weather history. Do not underestimate it. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there. The pattern changes, but your vigilance this week does not. The pattern is changing dramatically, but the need to stay weather aware is not changing at all. Stay safe, stay hydrated, keep your alerts on, and we will see you again tomorrow morning.